Hi everyone, today is Monday and we are right in the most important moment of my class. We are beginning to study the argumentative essay, and I consider the argumentative essay to be the, the, the highest point in my class because argumentation includes all the different genres we have seen before, from narration, expository writing, analytical writing, and argumentation. Argumentation has it all, and if you haven't studied in depth the other uh, type of essays, the analytical essay, for example, or the expository essay, I'm encouraging you to go back and then do um, a more um, a deeper reading and then to review what we have seen, and because otherwise you won't be able to to write a good essay in this last part. The argumentative essay is like the final exam that we don't have. In the argumentative essay, you have to show that you have been that your time in my class has been meaningful, that you have studied with dedication, and that you are able to apply all that we have seen, not only the different genres we have seen, but also the different forms of integration and in-text documentation of sources. So this is the closing of my class. That's why we are paying special attention to this essay 2 weeks. In the first place, as usual, we are beginning with checking the planner for the week. In the planner, you see that this is the first topic that we won't have a learning object. I didn't want to write a learning object for you because we're going to create the learning object together. We're going to be working. There's going to be a lot of collaboration in this last section of the class, and so I'm going to be guiding you through the reading, and then at the end, after we have seen we have studied the material, after we have done the discussion in the second participation forum that is beginning tomorrow, after we have had the video conference on Saturday and then the group activity next week, you'll be able to create the learning object with me. I'm going to give you the guidelines, so we're elaborating the learning object together. So at the end, we're going to have a wonderful document that we can create together, and you'll see what I mean when we have the participation in the forum. In this, for this essay, you will have to read, of course, Andrea Lamfort's book, Everyone's an Author. If I was unhappy about the way this author treated the analytical essay, and at some point I mentioned that I wasn't happy with the chapter, that's why I gave you in the learning object, I gave you the resource that I wrote about the analytical essay. Here is the other way around. I think that argumentation is greatly presented in her book. You have to read the centrality of argument on pages 373 through 417, and then you have a detail of all the pages that you have to read here, and I'm going to come back to you showing you in the book the specific and most important moments that you have to focus your attention on. But together with Andrea Lamfort's material, I'm giving you an older composition and rhetoric book that we used at the university, and I like, and I have been using at some point in my course, and is John Langan. John Langan chapter on argumentation from the book College Writing Skills with Readings. Why do I like Langan? Langan makes like a summary of what Andrea Lamfort presents. She presents the genre in an extended way, while Langan is more focused. He provides a set of strategies to refer to the argumentative essay, which is the same thing that Andrea Lamfort does, but here in this case is more detailed. But you have to read both. You have to read first Lamfort, and then Langen. Um, Here, I'm going to show you in the contents where the different parts are. So the topics are writing an argumentative essay. We're going to continue working with MLA style, annotating and reading text critically, using pre-writing techniques. All these topics are going to be uncovered, and then using some of the argumentative strategies and models. We have the classical model, the Aristotelian model, which is the classical, the Ptolemaic, and the Rogerian argument. So we're going to study this in detail. We have quiz 10, sentence fragment, is the language corner as usual, and we have the forum, which starts tomorrow on the 4th and runs through the 6th of July. In this forum, tomorrow, the first day, is going to be the last day I'm going to be working with MLA. I'm going to give you a question, and as before, the question is going to be active during the day, opening in the morning, and then at 23:55, you can no longer post responses. So the first day tomorrow is going to be last some issues that I have with MLA still that I've seen in your essays that I would like to discuss as part of the forum, and it's going to be like a practicum as before. That is tomorrow. Then Wednesday and Thursday are going to be about argumentative strategies. For this, before Wednesday, you need to read all the material that I'm giving you from Luntford and John Langen. On Saturday, we will have the third video conference, and from 9 to 11 it's going to be 2 hours, and as before, I organize the video conference to be for 2 hours, but it could be 1 hour 30 minutes, 1 hour 45, and we could leave some time at the end for questions. So this is the planner of the week. If you are in doubt, please contact me again. Now let's take a look briefly at the Andrew Luntford's book, The Centrality of Argument. As before, you realize that there are lots of pages, but the way she presents information is very friendly with the reader. Lots of examples, and the core information is not this long. For example, he pays attention to analyzing and constructing arguments, the source of an argument, what is the claim that you make. We have seen this in the thesis statement before, but it's important that you are clear about the claim. She talks about something that is called the crux of the argument, which is the center of the argument, that it starts with a question. If you don't have a clear question about the argument that you're making, then chances are that you're not going to have a good argumentative essay. Then she continues with what is at stake, the means of persuasion, the classical model of argumentation, the Aristotelian model, appeals to emotion, to ethics, and to logic, and so it's the typical ethos, pathos, and logos is the way to organize it. So this is the classical argumentative model that goes back to the classical antiquity, to Aristotelian times. Then he also talks about other perspectives and ways to structure an argument. Then she goes back to the classical model. She presents on page 419 strategy for supporting an argument using analogies, cause and effect, classification, comparison and contrast, definitions. So she walks all through all these different genres again in presenting the model. So this is what you have to study from Andrew Luntford, and I'm going to show you again from John Langen, the chapters in Langen's book. Here, if you check in the contents in week 6, you have I divided the chapter, Langen chapter, into sections. Under the name argumentation, ban the things, ban them all, um, is the chapter from Langen's book. I'm opening the chapter to show you, and after you have studied the material in Lansford, you should come here because it's going to be like a summary. This is the classical approach, rhetorical approach to argumentation. Lansford is more conversational and is more updated. But after you have seen Lansford's text, you should come back here and then review the way he approaches argumentation. For example, he refers to 6 strategies that are essential to have a good argumentative text, using tactful language, pointing out common ground, acknowledging different viewpoints, when appropriate, granting the merits of different viewpoints, rebutting different viewpoints. And then he gives you an example, a student essay, as a matter of fact, a couple of essays, Teenagers and Jobs, and Once Over Likely. I think they're wonderful examples of argumentation with minor flaws that he explains himself later. So this is what you have for the week. As I said before, I'm encouraging you to start studying the material now, today and tomorrow, to study Lansford's text and Langen's text. And on Wednesday, when we have the second day of the forum that we're going to be discussing argumentation, then you're going to need this. You're going to need this as well for the video conference on Saturday. I'm going to be sending you the questions on Wednesday morning, so you wake up with the question that I'll be sending you. The questions, as before, are going to be very practical. So the session, we're going to have a practice session, so you need to come to the session with all this study, but you have to study before because we have the second participation forum. So as I said before, this is a heavy weight. This essay, in this essay, you have to show that you have been studying in a meaningful way the material in my class, and you're going to see the connection between everything that we have been doing. So the argumentative essay is, with the argumentative essay, we are bringing to a closure our studies in this composition and rhetoric course. Before ending this recording, I'm reminding you that the portfolio is still open. It's going to be open until the end. You're going to be receiving the graded analytical essay during the course of the week. By Friday night, I'm going to be sending before Friday night all the essays graded. I'm grading already, but I'm sending you little by little the essays. The portfolio is still open. If you need to load samples, pre-writing samples or annotated critical reading samples, I'm reminding you that you need to name the samples correctly. Remember the portfolio. Some of your portfolios are going to be chosen to be delivered to the university as a sample of the writing that we do in our class. So I wish you luck in this last part of a class, and I'm very happy that most of you have gotten this far. Thank you, and stay in touch.